line at Old Trafford. You never know who might be around to join us as well for a little chat. So do stay with us here on Super Sunday. It's been Manchester United's day, no doubt of that, but Arsenal certainly gave it their all. And we look forward to hearing Arteta's reflection in just a moment as we look back on those goals.
Tell us about your two goal scorers, the performance of Antony on his debut and the confidence of Marcus Rashford again.
Yeah, they play both great, I think, and they were continual threat. And I know our offensive is really strong, and they are creative, they have speed, and also the routines. The first time they play together, and then this performance is great to see.
Thanks, Eric.
It's interesting, and the mentality is what we were just touching on at full time there, about at 1-1, Arsenal were in the ascendancy, but they found a way.
Yeah, and you have to look back to last season and previous seasons to compare that type of thing with what we're seeing now. It does feel like there's a bit more grit between their teeth. Feels like there's a togetherness now. They've gone through some real tough times, this team. Not more so than at the start of the season. I mean, getting beat 4-0, there must have been some real soul-searching in that dressing room. So now to bounce back so quickly from that, show no signs of being scarred, and even when things go against you, to keep resilient, I think that's a great thing to have. Obviously, the Paul Scholes teams of the past were unbelievable. Even when they went down, even when it was 0-0 with 92 minutes on the clock, you still always fancied them to win, and I think that's what they need to build over time, because that's been lost in recent years. But it's coming back. It's not there yet. We're still not watching a Manchester United team that are playing Arsenal off the park or anything else like that, but they are finding a way and they are getting better with every game.
Yeah, and we've sat here for the last 2-3 seasons, and you've said to me at times, dig in, show some character, show some resilience, which those United teams didn't have. Are you beginning to see that now? Do you feel more positive in that sense?
Yes, you have to, after the last 4 games especially. I think he was alluding to the first 2 games, the mentality wasn't right. I think that was clear. They were too soft, too easy to play against. And I think that Liverpool game probably came at a really good time for them, just to show that they had to be determined to win games of football, especially big games of football. Now, I don't think this is his style of play. I don't think he'll enjoy playing on the counter-attack all the time. But sometimes when you've got these type of players, it's the best way to do it. Sometimes you just have to have a philosophy with what you've got. I think his philosophy will be eventually to play out from the back, to play the perfect football, to play the really nice football that Arsenal played. But for now, he's just getting by, having a strong mentality, determination at the back, which is the most important thing. To start building a team, you've got to start from the back. That back four, the last 4 games, has been really good. A little bit of a worry about Martin, as I said, but there's room for improvement. He said that himself. This team will get better. They'll get more into his style of play, and hopefully, they'll go on to try and win. So Manchester United is all about winning. It doesn't matter how they do it. They don't care if they have 70% possession or 30% possession. It doesn't matter, especially in these big games. It's about winning them.
Does he not deserve some credit for that then? Because we've seen managers in the past be really stubborn and not change, the way they want to play. And he's realised very quickly that he's going to have to do that to get results.
I couldn't imagine Pep Guardiola coming here and say, right, no, we're not playing out from the back. It's not going to happen. But he has done that. You've got to give him real credit for that. He's realised very quickly that the players he's got are not suited to that style. His goalkeeper especially is not suited to that style. And it's never been, I said before, it's never been that type of club where we play perfect football out from the back and it's all pretty and nice to watch. It makes the crowd nervous when they're seeing little 10-yard passes on the 6-yard line. They don't like it. It makes David De Gea nervous. Now, going forward, if he wants to go to that way, he may have to bring different players in, because these players now are probably not suited to the way he wants to play, but he's found a way to win games with this group of players. Now, why would you change and go back to something that didn't really work at the start of the season? He's found a way of playing football on the counter-attack with this group of players. Now, why change that? We talk about philosophies all the time, don't we? And these managers are stubborn. Arteta will be stubborn. Guardiola will be stubborn. Jurgen Klopp will be stubborn managers. But this man, you have to give him credit, because he's gone away from really what he wants to do, I think, and he's doing what he wants with a group of players that he's found the best way of performing.
You interested in this as a young coach, listening to how philosophies have to change?
Yeah, definitely. And what Ten Hag said as well is you can tell Arsenal have been together longer. Their patterns, their principles, you can see they knew it. And it took a while to get there with Arsenal. And like I spoke about before with Mikel always saying it's the process. And he has a very structured way of playing. And now you can see it paying off. And credit to Ten Hag, he's come in and he's tried to play out from the back, as you saw against Brentford, didn't work, and now he's finding a way to win. I think in the background he'll still be working on his principles and trying to get them across slowly. But in the meantime, to get results, get people on board, he's doing what it takes to win.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see that evolve, won't it? You know, this Manchester United team, we all agree that it's not the Manchester United that we envisage later on in the season. So fascinating to watch how he evolves with that team. He's obviously brought a couple of players in himself that he knows. I suspect that Manchester United will always find money to back their manager in the future, so there might be more movement in the next window. And eventually we'll get to playing the way he wants to play, but we look forward to watching that team evolve over time.
He got his man eventually, Anthony. 82 million, he put him straight in. He had almost an hour. Obviously, he got his goal. You're right, we didn't see him on the ball an awful lot. Did you see encouraging signs for going forward for the United fans?
You'd have to say so, yeah. Of course you will. It looks an exciting player, looks an entertainer. He held his position well. He worked hard enough, I suppose. And he knows the way Ten Hag wants a wide player to play. You know, it's a little bit difficult in this team. He's playing in an Ajax team that were in control of games, probably the way Arsenal were today. So maybe that's a little bit different for him, but he'll have to get used to that. I thought he held his position well. Played as a wide player should do, really. He looks like he's full of tricks, full of entertainment, gets it a little bit wrong, then gets it right. But he will be a fan's favourite. There's no doubt about that. He took his goal really well as well. So yeah, I think there's a lot to be excited about. Look, it's only a start. Got a little bit excited at times with trying stuff that possibly weren't on. But as Jack said before, wide players. Dutch managers, they love to have the players so wide, and he certainly looked to hold that position. It creates space for midfield players, and look, he looks like he's got a goal in him as well, which is good.
I like the way he tracked back a lot of the time as well, because a lot of these players... you have to in the modern game. But
because he's played under this manager for 2 years, he's already in that up and running, isn't he?
Yeah, and that's the beauty of going back to your former clubs, to signing players that you know so well. You know, there's no surprises, let's say. We all know that he's got quality on the ball. We've seen him score a goal today. We know he's going to be a box of tricks, but good to see that he actually puts a shift in for the team as well.
I'm interested as a midfielder as well on Christian Eriksen. Bruno Fernandes was touching upon him. What he's brought to United with that Premier League experience as well as quality, Jack.
He's got vision that a lot of players haven't got. And you know, in the first few games he was questioned playing a little bit deeper because of...
He was a false 9 on his debut, actually, wasn't he? In fairness.
Yeah. And then like, some people were saying, defensively he doesn't give you much there, but this is what he does give you. And we were talking during the game, it's almost like a bit of a carrot pass, that one.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
He plays with his head up, he scans the pitch, he has a picture before the ball comes to him, and you know, a lot of people don't give credit for the pass before the assist, and he'll do that a lot this season. Because you can see here, look, he has 1 look, 2 looks, and then the ball comes and it's first time, and that is so hard to defend against. And also the back line, it gives the back line a different problem. And yeah, he's going to be, if he can keep himself fit and healthy, he'll be a big player for...
It's not a criticism at all to say, is it? Because Fred gives you different options, but there's no chance on earth that second goal would have happened if it wasn't for Christian Eriksen. If that was Fred instead, like it's been for the last couple of seasons, then it just wouldn't have been a goal. So, you know, I think it's been a bit of a masterstroke to put him in there, and now it's almost got the better out of, you know, Bruno Fernandes in front of him, and then consequently gets the better out of Marcus Rashford. It's just a knock-on effect when you have a player like that that's capable, and we see his numbers here as well. I mean, he's a top-class operator, has been for years, and I think he's been a very good sign already.
And Paul, just give us an insight into what you were saying a few weeks ago as well, that the midfielder on the half turn and the fact that Christian Eriksen's always looking to go forward.
Yeah.
How does that affect the rest of the team when you've got a player like that?
Well, forwards know when the ball's coming. They know they've got a midfield player who's thinking about them even before the ball comes. They know he's watching, he's looking all the time. Where's my forward players? Where's my number 10? Where's Bruno? Where's Marcus Rashford? Where's my two wide players? He's always scanning the pitch and he's only thinking about going forward. I can't tell you how important it is you have that as a number 10, as a wide player. Because if you don't have that, you had the players that we've had playing in there who are always facing backwards, always going backwards. The movement's a waste of time. So whatever movement they do, it doesn't matter. Right? You see Bruno, he's so clever to get in them spaces behind the midfield, in front of the back four, but you need someone to find them. And Christian Eriksen has certainly got that. Michael mentioned Michael Carrick, Jack did. Brilliant at that, absolutely brilliant. For a number 10 to have any influence on a football game, they need a midfield player with that kind of quality.
Yeah, I think we stood here. Well, I stood over there with Scholes a couple of weeks ago, and we saw the difference when you have got the likes of McTominay and Fred coming back to the play with his back and playing back all the time. And if anyone watched that, then they'll absolutely understand what Paul's talking about now in terms of with Eriksen playing. It's just a different way, and Manchester United can actually attack well now instead of it being a struggle constantly.
Interesting.